Duke and North Carolina, always the favorites, but never before have they both been the favorite. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz. Glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com as we continue our countdown of the best preseason conferences, getting ready for the college basketball season to tip off. Let's bring in our CBSSports.com college basketball columnist, Gary Parrish, to talk about the ACC. And Gary, Duke and North Carolina, for the first time in the 41 years that they've been doing this, both picked as preseason #1 in the conference. When you look at these teams, in your mind, are they really that close together?
They're close. I mean, in the sense that I think both are top 10 teams, but I wouldn't put them in a tie. I just think North Carolina is so loaded up front with Ed Davis, Deion Thompson, Tyler Zeller. So loaded, in fact, that John Henson is going to spend a lot of time on the perimeter, and he's probably a power forward. So, it's just a testament to the program that they can lose everything they lost and still be in this position. But, that's North Carolina and Roy Williams. That's a scary combination. It's going to be hard for them to ever be bad.
Do you think Ed Davis and Deion Thompson do enough to replace what they lost? Obviously, you lose Hansbrough, and you lost a lot on the perimeter, so you got to make up for it in the inside, right?
Well, look, Tyler, as many haters as there are, was one of the great college basketball players of all time. I mean, just a terrific college basketball player. So can you replace that? I'm not sure. What I'm more concerned about if I'm North Carolina is how do you replace Ty Lawson, because you still got pros up front replacing Tyler Hansbrough. Replacing Ty Lawson, you have Larry Drew, and he's just not a pro. We'll see how it goes, but I never thought, going back to his days as a high school player, when I saw him in the summer playing for the Pump and Run team out of L.A. with Drew Holiday and the Ware twins, I never thought back then that he was a North Carolina caliber point guard. Doesn't mean he's not good, just not a North Carolina caliber point guard. And so I'm interested to see whether North Carolina can really be a Final Four caliber team with him running things. We'll see.
It's interesting to see if this team also takes over that form of the team the year after they lost Sean May and Rashad McCants and Raymond Felton and Marvin Williams. Same type of thing where they lose so many people the year after winning a national title. Gary, I want to ask you about Duke. Up and down last year. They still went 30-7. Who's the guy that is to carry the way this year?
Well, it's Kyle Singler, obviously. I mean, he's a fabulous player, another great college player who will be a very good pro, I think. Look, Duke is always good, and some of the anti-Duke people don't want to hear that, but even when they've been down or so-called down the past few years, they're still a consensus top 15 team, and they'll be good again this year. Are they flawed? Sure, from an athletic standpoint, but that's still going to be good enough. They're still going to be good enough to be at the top or near the top of the ACC, back in the NCAA tournament, another threat to make a Sweet 16, possible Elite 8, maybe Final Four. And then I think some of those athleticism problems are going to be solved pretty soon. They just got a commitment from Kyrie Irving, one of the best point guards in the country, and one from Harrison Barnes, the #1 player in the country, should be or could be coming soon. And if that happens, then we won't be talking about Duke at a talent disadvantage. They'll be back to being more talented than most people again.
Kyrie Irving right out of this area here in New Jersey. Other than those two teams, Gary, though, the rest of the ACC went 1-5 in the NCAA tournament. Where are the rest of the teams in this conference?
I think Clemson is good. I mean, they're going to be picked third, and they should be. And I love Trevor Booker. I mean, he's just what a college big man should be. Milton Jennings is a freshman, a McDonald's All-American, really talented big guy who can step away from the basket, knock down a shot. They got Noel Johnson, a former USC recruit, late, who decommitted and got out of his letter of intent after Tim Floyd resigned. So, look, I like this team, and I believe in Oliver Purnell, but Clemson has to do it in March before people are going to jump on board with me. Right now, I probably believe more in the Tigers than most people, but they can go a long way in improving what they can be in the 76 Classic in Anaheim over Thanksgiving. West Virginia's there, UCLA, Butler, Texas A&M, Minnesota. I'm going to be at that event, and if they can walk out of there, playing for winning the title or at least playing for it, then I think they'll go a long way to convincing more people that they're a serious basketball team.
That event's so good that you're picking that one over the Maui Invitational, which is very impressive. All right, Gary, who's the ACC team that's on the rise?
You know what? I think it's Georgia Tech. When you get Derek Favors and Amon Shumpert, and put them with the rest of that roster, I mean, it's a talented piece. It's a talented roster on paper. Now, the argument against Georgia Tech would be, hey, they've been talented a lot of years when they had Javaris Crittenden. Thaddeus Young. I mean, there were 2 first-round draft picks, and they just had to sneak into the NCAA tournament. But Paul Hewitt's, under a lot of pressure at Georgia Tech to win this year. I think he will, and I think this Georgia Tech team is going to finish in the top third of the ACC, get in the tournament, win a game, and get Paul Hewitt an extension.
Who's the team that's fallen down in the ACC this year, Gary?
I think Wake's going to fall just because it lost Jeff Teague and James Johnson, but they still might make the tournament. Won't fall too far.
All right, we'll see how it all plays out. Gary Parrish, thank you very much. Looking forward to catching up with you on the conferences ranked number 2 and 1. ACC was 3, Big East was 4. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, folks, for more on the ACC and the prospects of this season, stay right here with CBSSports.com. For Gary Parrish, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.